All right, so this video has been a very long time in the making, I guess. I'm very late to the party here. This video is on the Nexxspeed hop-up chamber for the AAP-01 or the Lancer Tactical tandemkross Cthulhu. It'll work in both of those. And there's a very big reason why it is super late coming out, because this product's been out for quite a while. I have been waiting for a specific part for them to make, which is this part here. This is a part that is necessary to use if you are using a black Mamba kit on your AAP-01, which happens to be the kit that I use on my main AAP-01. You need this in there, and I'm going to show you why the stock version of the Nexxspeed hop-up is not compatible with the black Mamba, and why you need this. But I do really like this hop-up, and I'm going to sort of show you its features as I go through here. Just make sure that if you have a black Mamba kit and you want to buy one of these, you need to also buy the parts that I'm going to show later in this video. And so especially for black Mamba people, make sure you watch the video so you can see and you make sure that you don't do anything wrong and potentially mess up your stuff. So this hop-up chamber is really cool because you can adjust the hop without taking apart your gun. So all you need to do is rack the gun, and then there's a wheel inside of there. Honestly, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but there is a wheel inside of there that you can grab onto with your finger, and you can adjust it up and down both ways. Obviously, if you have fat fingers, you're gonna need to use like a flat head or something like that. But my fingers, I can get in there and I can adjust it perfectly fine, even on the AAP-01C with the smaller ejection port that I have in front of me. And this is the gun that I have been using it in lately until I got this part, which this part just came out. So I can finally put it in my main gun, which is awesome. Now I'm going to take this apart because it's easier to see when it's apart. This hop-up chamber kind of fits in here weird. There's a very different process for installing it compared to all of the other hop-ups. All right, so when you get yours, mine came basically assembled. I don't remember if these parts were assembled or not. But essentially, if these parts are assembled, you just need to unscrew this screw here, and you can pick them out through the front. Now, essentially how this works is it is a rotary system, so as you turn it, it will lower the hop-up arm down, as you can hopefully see. Maybe that's out of focus, but hopefully you can see how it's working. And then it does, if you lower it down too much, it'll go all the way around in a circle, and it'll go back to 0 hop, and it will go again, right? So if you keep going down, it'll just reset back to 0, basically. I'll show you how that system works on the inside in a second. But basically, to install everything, obviously take these two pieces out, and then your inner barrel and stuff like that. Make sure you have your bucking on your inner barrel. And essentially, you slide it down. The little fin part on here is going to go on first. And that fin actually will go on top of the bucking, and it lines up with the bucking fin, as you can see. Hopefully you can sort of see that. So it needs to be lined up with the bucking fin and kind of pushed on all the way, as long as it doesn't push the bucking off of the inner barrel. And this little piece needs to go on top in that little slot there. This is essentially the clamp, and this is what secures the inner barrel, so the inner barrel does not move at all. All right, and then once everything is kind of on there, like so, you can take your hop-up chamber. You need to make sure that it's on 0 hop, my bad. So make sure it's on 0 hop, which it is on 0 hop right now. If it's on 0 hop, it's essentially, there's no issue on the inside, and you can just slide it all the way in. If you are scared, you can disassemble this, put the inner barrel in, and then reassemble it if you're scared. But honestly, I don't think you need to do that, and I don't do that when I have changed this around to different barrels and stuff like that. I just put it on 0, and then I take it out and then install it. It is what I've done, and I've had 0 issues. So fin should be on the opposite side when you put it in, so the wheel should be on the bottom. You need to slide it forwards. You may need to shimmy it just a tiny bit, and just keep pushing forwards until it stops. Flip it over, make sure that the fin is like correctly in there and lined up. And then I like to push it forwards a little bit just to make sure that it's all the way down. I push onto the little, the sleeve to make sure it's down all the way. And then I tighten the screw right here, and that will clamp it down onto the barrel. And once it's on, I give it a tug, make sure it doesn't move. If it moves, obviously you need to make it tighter than how you had it. But in my case, it is all good, so we can continue on with the process. Putting it into the gun, you have your outer barrel has to be off of the receiver. And this is a little bit different process from how we typically install them. You need to pull the slide back. You can leave the slide in if you want to. You could remove the slide. I just leave it in because, I mean, I don't really need to take it out to do it. But you put it in like this. So you put it in like you put a Glock barrel in, basically. And then it'll go back into place. Obviously, make sure you have the wheel on the top of the gun when you put it in. Looks like mine was a little bit wonky. There we go. Now, to screw everything in, you need to push it forwards extra, and then you can put your outer barrel on. You can only put the outer barrel on if you do it this way. Like, you cannot put the outer barrel onto the hop-up chamber and then put it in, because the hop-up chamber only goes in one way. It cannot fit the other way. So with most other ones, you can shove it in through the front. This one, it does not work like that. It has to go in this way. And then we can go ahead and squish this together. And then tighten these down. This is probably going to be easier on a polymer receiver because things will flex around. If it's a metal receiver, it's going to be less forgiving. And then you can switch it forwards and then tighten those two screws down, and then it will be perfectly good to go once you do that. It's just a little bit of a different process. It's not crazy hard or anything like that. It just is different than what you and I are used to. But yeah, you essentially screw it down and then it's good to go. Obviously, once it in, make sure your gun functions. So test fire it, make sure it's good, and then you're all set, right? I'm gonna take this back out because I'm gonna put it in my main gun finally, which is something that I've been waiting to do for a very long time, and I'm very excited to finally be able to do this. All right, so yeah, pop-up chamber right there, and here's my main gun. I have since switched to a Cthulhu lower because I do like it more than the normal lower, and it works with the AAP-01 perfectly fine. And this hop-up chamber does work perfectly in the Cthulhu without having to do any modification or using this part. This part is only necessary for the black Mamba, right? You can go ahead and remove the upper. And so with the black Mamba, you need to remove the rear sight and remove the bolts no matter what. So it has, this is going to be impossible to show. So you can see how it has these 90-degree like rectangular cutout here, right here where my finger is. So it's like a rectangular cutout with two 90 degrees. That is where the issue lies on this, because on normal receivers, it is just going to be circular. How you can see this is just a circle. Nexxspeed designed this hop-up with a circle in mind. So this ridge here on the top is essentially the circular part, and then it kind of has a cool like cutaway where it drops down and it juts back out. That cutaway is a big issue because that cutaway is where it needs to contact on the receiver for the black Mamba. So if you just put this in here without putting in this part, hopefully, basically the whole chamber will be tweaked. It'll be tweaked upwards. So best case scenario, your barrel is just angled upwards. Worst case scenario, it is going to bend your inner barrel. And you don't want to bend inner barrel. That's a terrible, terrible choice. So you definitely need to put this part in if you're using the Black Mamba. Also, if you use a barrel that's too short, it will just, you'll be shooting the inside of your gun. Or if you use a barrel that's too long and you want to use a suppressor, like the barrel is not going to work with your suppressor, right? That's just the unfortunate reality of the way that they designed this and the way that they designed this. These two parts do not like to work together without any extra like help. So I'll put this in without, so maybe you can see. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but yeah, the only issue is the one at the back. The one at the front is perfectly fine because the way that the front of the hop-up chamber is designed, it has enough angle that it contacts properly. So the front one essentially acts as a pivot point. And so if we tighten down just the front one, you can see in here, hopefully, that it is essentially just floating in there. It's not touching anything on the back. It's only grabbing on the front. It's just floating in there, right? Hopefully you can see that. I honestly don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but it is floating. It is not touching anything. And this is the position that it needs to be in to be shooting straight. Now, if we put the other screw in, like this, and we tighten down, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I only have so many hands, so I can't shine the light at the same time. But it will slowly just grab onto it, and it's going to torque it all the way down till it clamps on. And that's not good because it's bending the barrel, right? I'm not going to go any farther because I can already tell it's bending, and I don't want to permanently damage my barrel. But yeah, that is a serious issue, and you do not want to do that, right? So you guys need to buy this extra part if you have a Black Mamba. Because, I mean, if you're buying these parts, you should care about your gun and the way it works. And you're not going to be wanting to be damaging your inner barrel or anything like that. So, new parts. I have not touched this at all. I have just been waiting. I told Nexxspeed about this a while ago, and I've been waiting for them to develop a solution, and they finally have one developed, and they sent it to me. So this is literally my first time touching it. I don't know how it's going to be. I assume it'll be fine. And by the way, I got a sick new knife. My brother got me this. It's a Sand Trooper knife. It's a real Microtech, so it's a very nice one. So my assumption is that this will just, once I put the chamber in, I can slide this in, is what my assumption is. And that seems like that is going to be what it is, I believe. Could be wrong, but I believe that is all I need to do, which hopefully will be the solution that I need to use this. I don't know for sure yet, because I haven't tried it yet. All right, we can get the front one started, because the front one is not an issue. It's only an issue once we start clamping down on the second one. I need to probably line that up properly. All right, we got that tightened down, and then now we can drop this piece in, and hopefully... Okay, looks like we probably need to loosen that front one a little bit. And we'll see, does that... Yeah, that lines up properly. So we can drop in this other one. Yep, that seems like that did the trick. Seems like it's supporting it properly. Now we can look down the barrel. It doesn't look like it's bending. All right, yeah, that seems to be the solution that I have been waiting for. So that is awesome. Let's make sure that this can still, because that does jut out a little bit, let's make sure this can still properly go onto my frame. Where did I even put that? Oh. Yeah, that'll go on, no issue. But I guess this is also a frame that doesn't have a front safety. Will this work with a front safety? Yep, does work with the front safety, so we are all good there. This is awesome. So now this hop-up chamber is something that anybody can use as far as I'm aware. I don't know of any other reasons why this would not work in a gun. I only know that it wouldn't work in this one because of that specific reason. I do like this hop-up chamber. I have been using this I've been trading this hop-up chamber throughout multiple different guns for quite a while, just testing it through a bunch. And this is typically whenever I play, I have been putting this into the gun that I want to play with to test it out. And it has so far been amazing. Like, I've had zero issues with it. It's nice that it's easy to adjust the hop-up. I don't have to take it apart. I can just stick my finger through the side and I can adjust it. And I don't need any tools. I don't want to have to use tools to adjust my hop-up. I know, like, I could do like a TDC hop-up that, you know, goes through the receiver, but I don't want to have to use any tools. I have tried that in the past. I also don't want to have a massive wheel sticking out of my gun, which is typically how they work if it's not a tiny set screw, is a massive wheel. So yeah, I'm happy that I can finally use the best AAP-01 hop-up chamber on the market in my main gun, and I'm going to be using this this week probably, because you know I do like the Action Army one. Like, this is a nice hop-up chamber. This is much better than the stock one, but this is nowhere near as good as the Nexxspeed one. Right. And then obviously make sure your gun still functions. And then obviously test fire to make sure it does work once you have it put back together. But I don't really test them on camera, so I'm not going to, but yeah, I'm just very excited about that. So that's my video, and yet that's why I haven't done a video until now on this. Like, I've had this for quite a while, and other people have done videos, but I haven't until now. But now I have done a video, and you can hopefully I've shown you my thoughts, and I have warned you enough not to put it in the black Mamba without this new little tiny part. And that part is, oh, I might have already lost it is this part number. I don't know what the real name of it is, but this is what the part number is that you need to properly use it in a black Mamba. I finished recording this video yesterday, and then I sat down and went to edit it, and I realized that I actually forgot to take this apart for you guys. So I'm going to show you how this mechanism works real quick. It's not crazy. So this wheel up here, you just unscrew this little Phillips head. And these are tiny screws, and it comes apart. And we can pop out these little pieces. So the wheel is an aluminum wheel. It has an O-ring on it that helps to sort of add friction and keep it where it needs to be. And I don't know if you'll be able to see how there's like a step in there. Basically, it will gradually increase, and then at one point it will immediately drop down, and then drop down a second time back to zero. And you cannot go backwards, so you can only basically, you can keep increasing it. If you increase it too much, it will just go back to zero and start over. If you decrease it, it will just stop at zero. It will not go back up. All right, I hope that's easy to understand. And then this is just a little aluminum plate that has directions on it for which way to turn to adjust the hop up. And then this part here is again another little tiny Phillips head screw. You need to hold on to this. There is a potential for it to fly across the room. It probably won't because the spring is not super strong. But there's a little like locking piece here. This locks the arm into the hop up, and then the arm can come out, and it has just their typical soft nub on it. Mine is a little bit damaged because I tried to shove the hop up and the barrel in when it was like fully like turned on. But if you don't have yours fully turned on, you should be able to easily put the hop up, or sorry, put the bucking and the barrel in without having to take it apart, as long as you don't have it turned on. You need to make sure it's turned off. And I accidentally had it turned off one time when I tried to force it in, and that was not a good idea. But that is it. It's very simple in here. We can go ahead and put this together again. Let's see. Spring is on there, probably. Yeah, there it is for sure. And this is a bit of a tight fit. You need to make sure that it is freely moving, because you can have it just lined up just a hair off and it will not function when you install it. But if you install it properly, it'll function. So once you have the locking piece put on, make sure that you can still push up and down on the arm and it moves, right, as you can see there. Now the wheel just pops on. Typically, it's easiest if you have it on the lower setting. And then this kind of keys on into place, and it makes sure that it's lined up the proper direction. And then you just screw it back together. And that's it. It's really simple inside. This is a very like easy to work on hop up. Like, you don't have anything crazy or anything that could bend or anything like that going on, which is definitely welcome sort of idea, because I know with some of the other ones it can be a bit of a pain to work on. This one is extremely easy to do. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a nice day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if this video was useful for you, and make sure you check out the link down below. That is a link to our Discord server, and you are welcome to join. All right, have a nice day.